You are watching the 123, and I am Frank. And today we are going to be discussing everything right before you go and watch AEW today, which there is some people have said that it has been lackluster. I don't know if I'm one of those people, but I will say that they're not all going to be great shows. I know that. Doing my show, I try to have a good show, but I'm sure that some shows are just better than others. It just ends up being the way it is. So I tend to understand that type of thing, and I'm going to keep on respecting it. But let's hit it off with a little bit of news, courtesy of the Arcadian Vanguard, the wrestling news. Uh, Crown Jewel could have some issues, or might have to be called off with the impending war attack by Iran to an elevated war. So Iran might be attacking Saudi Arabia, and obviously, if that happens, then we have to. Then they're not going to be able to have wrestling there. Wrestling in a war zone would be a little bit bad, although they have had it in the past for the Christmas episodes of both SmackDown and Raw. So it's possible they have had it in Iraq during war times. So hard to say what they'll decide to do on that. NXT R-Truth sustained a knee injury, and 5 NXT stars were fired. The most important one being Brady Book from the Andre Chase University. Raw had its not this week's Raw. Last week's Raw had the lowest ratings in 5 months, and this week's Raw had the lowest key demo since December. AEW, the condition on Hangman Page is that after the match and after he was knocked out, he did come to, and when he was let out of the hospital, he was in good spirits. However, AEW is keeping him inactive due to concussion protocols. And GCW is now on Fight Plus for $4.99 with the upcoming match. I think I tried to write all this down, but it was, I think, November being the next fight. Nick Gage's Invitational. And New Japan Wrestling, FTR is going to defend their title. However, I don't remember against who, which I should have. They speak a little fast on wrestling news, but I'll try and get it for you better. But now we are going to talk about what we always talk about, the superstar of the week. And I'm making a face because I just said it. Is there? Huh. That's kind of weird. It's not a place. Not. I'm going to have to cue it up again. I don't know what happened, but for some reason, it went away. Anyway, Japanese professional wrestler currently signed to WWE, where he performs on the SmackDown brand. They've kind of changed their style. That's one thing that I used to do is I'll have to fix that so that it's more to what I wanted to be able to do. Anyway, Shinsuke Nakamura, born February 24th, 1980, is a Japanese professional wrestler currently signed to WWE, where he performs on the SmackDown brand. Nakamura is known for his time in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he is former three-time IWGP heavyweight champion. With his first reign coming at the age of 23 years and 9 months, making Nakamura the youngest IWGP heavyweight champion. His other accomplishment within the company included winning the 2011 G1 Climax and the 2014 New Japan Cup, and being the final IWGP third belt champion, the final NWF heavyweight champion, and the longest reigning IWGP Intercontinental Champion for his first reign. He formerly held the record for the most reigns at 5, and he is also a founding member of the original leader of the stable Chaos. Vividly unrestrained and expressive, Nakamura portrays a wildly random and erratic mixed martial arts enigma, emotionally charged by the sound of violins, a pre-WWE gimmick. Nakamura played the character in other wrestling companies that he was contracted to prior. I don't like it when they say character. It's kind of not really what should be said when you're talking about wrestling. It's my fault because I keep using Wikipedia, but I have been trying to get books to talk about the superstars a little bit better. But we can see what we can do. Maybe when I start talking about some T-shirts, that could definitely help. Prior to his main roster debut in WWE, Nakamura completed in the company NXT brand, where he became a two-time NXT champion. In January 2018, Nakamura won the 2018 Men's Royal Rumble match and later won the WWE United States Champion twice. He won the Intercontinental Champion for the first time in 2019 in Extreme Rules, making him the second wrestler behind Chris Jericho to hold both WWE and IWGP Intercontinental Championships. Nakamura is also a former WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champion with Cesaro from July 2020 to October of the same year. Nakamura dubbed himself King Nakamura due to being in the possession of King of Ring crown, although he never won the tournament. That's interesting. He won the crown, but not the tournament. I wonder how that happens. Let's see here. Excursion return. Let's see. This one's a good one I'll mention. Nakamura challenged Brock Lesnar for IWGP Heavyweight Championship in January 4th, 2006 at Tukan Shudo Chapter 1, but he lost. In March 2006, Nakamura announced that he would depart on a learning excursion in order to further improve his wrestling skills. Among other things, he would travel to Mexico, Brazil, and Russia, as well as train with Lesnar at Lesnar's personal gym in order to gain muscle mass. New Japan President Simon Inaki later suggested that as part of the learning excursion, Nakamura would be loaned to World Wrestling Entertainment to gain experience in working large American shows. However, it proved to be mostly speculation and never came to pass as Nakamura was urgently needed back in New Japan due to Lesnar's departure. As the king of strong style between 2009 and 2012, in April 2009, Nakamura turned into a villain, sliding with the former members of GBH, especially Toru Yano, in a feud against Togi Makabe Tomokawa Hama. The new group assumed name Chaos with Nakamura as their leader. Nakamura began to work a much rougher style, using a lot of knees and continuing to use a straight right hand as a frequent move in addition to a Bornai named Kinshasa in WWE. His new finisher, it was the Bome that took him to the finals of the 2009 G1 Climax, where he lost to Makabe. Prior to the final, Nakamura had gone undefeated, winning each match with the Bome. The move was also credited for fracturing IWGP Heavyweight Champion Hiroshi Tanahashi's orbital bone in the semifinals of G1, which forced Tanahashi to vacate the title later that month. So that is Shinsuke Nakamura. Some people say that when he left to WWE, he kind of started coasting because his matches were okay, but they weren't like, I guess they were phenomenal in New Japan. I've never seen his New Japan matches, so I honestly wouldn't know how to compare. So let's look at, before we actually, let me throw out the card here. So the card seems to be we're going to have a competition for Orange Cassidy for the Atlantic Championship or the All Atlantic Championship. The one that has the Japanese flag on it, which is kind of strange, being as how that's definitely not in one of the oceans. Maybe it should be the all ocean. Oceanic would be different, so I don't know. But anyway, Orange Cassidy versus Luchasaurus versus those two kind of surprised me. I had it in front of me. I'll find it. Won't take but a minute. I'll just go onto the AEW site. They'll have it right here, I'm sure. Yeah, there it is right there. That's the one tonight. Yeah. So that one is Orange Cassidy, Luchasaurus, and Rey Fenix. Okay. Chris Jericho, a former ROH champion. Samoa Joe and Brian Cage, two big beefy boys. John Moxley and Lee Moriarty. An interview with Ray Paquette with Renee Paquette with Saraya and Britt Baker, DMD. So they're going to talk. And then Daddy Ass is celebrating his birthday bash. And Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal. I don't know. Like, your call. You want to... I don't know. Like, some of them I'm definitely interested in watching. Darby Allin versus Jay Lethal strikes me. Might want to see the Atlantic with Orange Cassidy and Luchasaurus, mainly because of Rey Fenix. I would like to see Rey Fenix get that belt. I think that'd be awesome, because I don't think that Orange Cassidy or Luchasaurus would have it. I'm kind of curious to see who Chris Jericho is going to go against, but if it's a pure champion or something, because originally they were talking about a ROH champion and saying a world champion, and then he changed it to a pure champion, a TV champion, and so that didn't really excite me too well. But that is what we've got going in just 45 minutes now. And let's look at the last matches, which would have been so that'd be the results for AEW. So we'll come up with that right now. I gotta find the results here, the date. So that would have been October 26th. So I'm going to look up the AEW Dynamite October 26, 2022. And we'll look at that from cage side seats. So, good grief. Big ass mess here. Yeah, you can stop dropping things and making a mess here. Okay, so AEW Dynamite emanated from Chartway Arena, Norfolk, Virginia. The show featured Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club and Elite Tees, Jon Moxley defending the AEW World Championship, and the MJF Swerve. Jon Moxley versus MJF for the AEW World Championship is set for the main event to the Full Gear pay-per-view on November 19th. That's assuming Moxley is still king by then. And there are actually stories where Moxley and Penta lit it up in a firefight of physicality. Pentagon brought his A game. He had Moxley well scouted. The champ is the champ for a reason. Moxley also had Penta's tendencies studied. For example, when Penta charged for a Mexican destroyer on the ring steps, Moxley countered for a DDT onto the steel. Penta did manage to snap Moxley's arm, but that didn't earn a victory. Pentagon surprised the arena when he connected on a package pile driver. That moment had me on the edge of my seat. Mox kicked out and continued the fight. Excuse me. In the end, Moxley turned up the gears to catch Penta for a paradigm shift and Death Rider back-to-back. Moxley earned a hard-fought win to retain. This was a rugged bout that lived up to the expectations, even with an obvious outcome. And then the aftermath of the main event. Seeds were planted earlier when MJF hyped his future challenge against Moxley at Full Gear. He walked back the idea of not trying to cheat against Mox. MJF will wrestle the match relatively clean. You have to expect some chicanery with him. MJF did promise not to use the Dynamite Diamond Ring as a foreign object. All MJF needs is a grudge to fuel his fire. Stokely Hathaway interrupted to confirm not softening up Moxley before the pay-per-view. MJF was serious about wanting no excuses for Moxley in defeat. Hathaway didn't seem to accept that notion at face value, so MJF made it clear if the firm lays a hand on Moxley, then Hathaway will be fired from MJF's payroll. Fast forward to after the main event, the firm ran out to attack Moxley. The numbers game was too much for a grueling match. MJF entered the scene on stage. He hesitated to intervene as the little angel on one shoulder argued with the little devil on the other shoulder. Eventually, MJF ran to stop the violence. MJF then turned around into a high kick from Ethan Page. Hathaway's statement was clear. They no longer take orders from MJF. Then we had the JSS versus the BCC. That's the Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club. You want more feuding between the Jericho Appreciation and the Blackpool Combat Club? Well, AEW is your hookup. Hall, if you hear them, Dynamite had 2 bouts to satisfy that desire. Chris Jericho and Daniel Garcia engaged in tag team action against Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, and Sammy Guevara dueled with Bryan Danielson. The tag bout opened the show. Daddy Magic, Cool Hand, Jake Hager, Floyd were ringside. William Regal joined commentary. Down the stretch, Claudio had enough and went wild. He powerbombed Floyd the Bat out of Jericho's hand and executed the giant swing with Garcia up top for an airplane spin. Claudio ran around and ring bopping JSS members along the way. Back in the ring, Claudio pinned Jericho off the neutralizer to win. So now they're basically saying that Floyd, that the bat was a foreign object, and so it should have been disqualified. That was a surprising result to see Jericho eat the loss. So that was a little bit different. And then, for some reason, Yuta came out hot, sassing Danielson. Claudio played peacemaker to sort through the issues and act like adults. JS offered their thoughts as well. And like I said, they accused him of cheating. For Danielson versus Sammy, Tay Mello was ringside. Danielson took delight in aggressively attacking his opponent. Sammy's moments of success were based on landing jump knee strikes as counters to Danielson's eagerness to attack. And of course, the winner on that one was also Bryan Danielson. The number one tag team contenders, FTR and Swerve in Our Glory, competed to determine the next challengers for the Acclaim and the AEW World Tag Team Championship. The Gun Sons were ringside in FTR costumes. Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, and Billy Gunn pulled up a chair to observe from the stage. FTR had trouble with Keith Lee's power, and they also had trouble with Lee's agility. And so basically what happened is they grabbed FTR, and so the winner, or not FTR, but they grabbed Swerve pulled Cash Wheeler out of the ring on the cover to save his partner. Swerve whipped Wheeler into the guardrail in front of the Guns, and then the Guns grabbed him, locked him up, and then Keith Lee was able to grab Dax without a breakup. So the new contenders for the Acclaimed are Swerve in Our Glory. And after that, they put there was an Elite commercial through that was basically teased the Kenny Omega and Young Bucks were vanishing, as well as their voices. And so a lot of people think that means that they're going to be on their way back pretty soon. And the whole thing with CM Punk has been figured out. Also, we had Jamie Hayter defeating Rio. And that was Dynamite. Gonna look at time here. Yeah, so after that, we had Rampage. So let's look at Rampage. Actually, you know what we'll do is we'll do SmackDown, because so that way we're not just doing straight AEW. A little bit different, you know. All right, so that is going to be the 28th. SmackDown, October 28th. I wasn't there. I did not see this match because I was having fun at Halloween Haunt. So it was a good time doing roller coasters and just having a good time, you know? So we'll look at Forbes results. We're going to do this real quick because that was a little bit, took a minute here. Wow, this is terrible. Yeah, this is horrible. I don't want to do Forbes again. Wow, and then you're going to hit me for an ad. That's not very good. I'm trying to get the information, and it's pretty terrible. Going back. I just didn't really care for that. Yeah. I'll find something else besides Forbes. That was not a time. Let's see. We'll go with Fox Sports. That's probably pretty good there. All right. Thank you, Fox Sports, for helping us out here. Huh. Wow. I guess that's the replay, so you actually have to play that to do that. All right, we'll just do cage side seats. So there was a SmackDown results and an open challenge. Friday, it comes waltzing back into our lives tonight with the live show emanating from Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. Let's see. So we started out, we see the bloodline in the locker room, and Sami Zayn tells Jey Uso that tonight is all hands on deck. Roman Reigns isn't here yet, and the first thing he needs to see when he gets here is a victory. A couple weeks ago, Jey helped him with Kofi Kingston, and he asked him to bring that energy tonight. Uso gets fired up. Then we have the Brawling Brutes, Pete Butch Dunne, and Ridge Holland versus the Bloodline, Sami Zayn and Solo Sikoa. I try and keep that phone down, but sometimes I get calls in. Zayn and Dunne to start, collar and elbow into the corner, and Sami comes out with a break with the boot, headlock, shot off, drop down, leapfrog, drop down, shoulder block, Pete with an arm ringer, tag to Holland, and working Zayn's arms off the ropes, big hip toss, quick tags to the Brutes, try to get him off balance, don't. And Sikoa tags in and takes a Butch out, leg drop, quick tag, but Pete puts Sami to the floor and clocks him with a knee. Solo takes him out with the northern forearm, and we go to break. Back from commercial, Sikoa is beating Dunne down. Samoan drop reversed into a DDT, and both men are down and out. Tags made. Holland is hot with shoulder blocks and fired up. Corner lariats. Kicks set up, a Samoan drop, but Ridge kicks out. Sami and Pete back and forth, reversals. Butch gets an inverted cloverleaf, but Jimmy Uso runs interference, and Zayn gets a deep 2 off the distraction. Exploder suplex on the turnbuckles. Ridge bowls everybody. Back inside, beat the count. Dunne catches him. Post-match, we have the Bloodline bicker until Roman Reigns makes his entrance, and we go to break. Back from commercial, the Bloodline are in the ring. Cowed and anxious as Paul Heyman hands Roman Reigns a microphone. He demands the St. Louis acknowledge him, as he always does. And if Jay doesn't figure it out, he's going to change his name to Sammy Uso. Zayn. Zayn is delighted at this turn of events. Let me tell you, Paul Heyman takes over to the end of the segment, very meta style, saying that we've come to the end of the segment and to watch Roman Reigns defend the title against Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. Maximum Male Models, Mason Mansoor versus New Day. Mansoor and Woods to start, a little bit of the mat grappling and then to pose time. Model blows Xavier a kiss, wrist lock, back and forth, driving brain chop, more chops, leaping lariat, boom drop, tag made, backbreaker. New Day win by pinfall with Midnight Hour on Mansoor. Sonya Deville is interviewed backstage. She won't answer. She's going to answer Ronda Rousey's open challenge. Back from commercial, we have Braun Strowman. He cuts a promo. Says no matter who you are, there's someone bigger and stronger. And yes, Omos is bigger, but is he stronger? He has ever flipped over a tractor trailer. He's going to find out real quick that there's no giant too big. Then we had Emma versus Ronda Rousey. Collar and elbow into the corner. Rousey pie faces her to the mat. Emma with a schoolboy attempt. No dice. Ronda kicks her to the floor. Back inside, we have the cutthroat Shakira special. Emma reverses into a mounted punches. Side kick. Gets a knee. It's a lariat. Both women are down and out. Whip across. Duck a lariat. Emma with the tilt-a-whirl roundhouse kick. Wheelbarrow. German suplex connects. Fired up. Emma right sandwich, underhooks, but Ronda blocks. Piper's Pit blocked, rake the eyes. Fireman's carry into Piper's Pit, grabbing the arm, falling back. Ronda Rousey wins the submission with her armbar to retain the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Backstage, we have Jey Uso arguing with Paul Heyman in front of Roman Reigns' locker room. Heyman says sometimes it's better for Roman to hear things from his wise men, and he's going to go talk to Roman for Jay. Then we had Legado del Fantasma make it their entrance, interrupted by Bray Wyatt bumper before we go to break. Back from commercial, Ronda Rousey runs into Shayna Baszler to celebrate her win. Natalya rolls up to call Rousey, lucky to claim that she'd have won if she got the open challenge, but Baszler blindsides her and chokes her out. Hit Row make their entrance, and B-Fab gets on the mic to introduce their mystery partner. She says Legado don't want to fight to their faces, but they've got friends in high places at Shinsuke Nakamura. Wild beat down before the bell, while B-Fab holds court with Zelina Vega, looks on, confident in her boy's ability. Hit Row, Ashante, the Adonis, and Top Dollar, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Legado de Fantasma. Back from commercial, matches in progress. Del Toro is working Adonis over the Cobra clutch, quick tags, heat segment rolling, tag to Dollar, top catches Cruz and the fireman's carry. Wild up front, world's strongest slam, waistland combination. Santos cuts him right off. Dollar off the top with a brain chop. Shinsuke tags in, queued right up. Hit Row and Shinsuke Nakamura win by pinfall with the Kinshasa from Nakamura on Dela Cruz Del Toro. Then we have some more stuff from the Usos from the Bloodline. Then back from commercial, L.A. Drake is interviewed backstage. Ricochet rolls up before he can say anything of substance, telling him he might get a warm reception if he didn't act like God's gift to SmackDown around here when someone's head grows as big as his does. So he does a promo. Moss in control early, cross bells to the floor to regroup, and we go to break. Back from commercial, Cross has found his groove, lariats and elbows, and stomps in the corner. Big lariat for two, pressing the attack, but Moss stays down. Then Karrion Kross wins by pinfall with the northern forearm. Back from commercial, The commentary hypes up the Crown Jewel card. Bray Wyatt makes his entrance and gets on the mic. He says this is still new to him and he can be used to the energy. And he should reveal. Oh, yeah. And then Uncle Howdy, which is either Bray's persona or Bo's persona or someone's persona, calls him a liar for that he's not wearing a mask. And that is the end of SmackDown. And now we have Rampage to go through. And I don't know. I may have to cut some of these shows because we're not trying to do a 2-hour show here, but want to make sure you have your time to get your snacks so you can get your show. Go see the show. That's going to be on 2022. And plus, I of course cover Dynamite, so most of the time I want to be able to get to it. So that's a thing. All right. So Rampage, October. We have Jon Moxley versus Daddy Magic, world title eliminator, which means Daddy Magic earns a title shot for the win. Nipple check. Daddy Magic's nipples were hard. I don't care. Moxley sprang up for the cutter. Moxley continued his momentum for superplex. Mox stomped Daddy Magic's head in. Cool Hand ran in to the ring, ate a cutter for supper. Daddy Magic pounced to ram Moxley into the ring post. After DDT, Daddy Magic tried to stomp Moxley in the head. Daddy Magic's movement was awkward, which allowed Moxley to counter for a rear naked choke. Daddy Magic tapped out in defeat. Let's see. Afterward, we had Stokely Hathaway and Lee Moriarty interrupted Moxley and challenged him for a fight. Then we had Mike Tyson will be returning to AEW next week for commentary on Rampage. And there will be a title eliminator final at Full Gear. And that Dante Martin is the first official entrant. But okay, if that's the case, then why was he in an eliminator match where he was supposed to get where Moriarty is supposed to be getting one tonight? I don't know. That's confusing. Keith Lee versus Serpentico. This was crazy because Serpentico is the little guy that dresses up kind of in like a scorpion from Mortal Kombat costume, but he's probably couldn't possibly be 80 pounds soaking wet. And Keith Lee is 400 and some odd pounds. So that was a squash, and it was under 30 seconds. Then we had Tay Mello versus Madison Rayne. I felt like this match was really rough. I watched this, and it was because I put it on after I'd gone to Knott's. I actually watched it on the DVR, and it was a little bit rough. I don't know that it was great. Then we had Matt Taven versus Wardlow. And Matt Taven got 3 of the Powerbomb Symphonies, or 5 of them. So he got slammed to the ground, and that was that. And so that was Rampage. I did not see Raw, and we're running so late. I want people to be able to get their snacks. And Raw was pretty bad. Like Wrestle Talk gave it a 2.0. So I guess I'm just going to have to tell folks to look that up. So enjoy AEW. And this was the 123. Oh, one more thing. Don't forget to get some shirts at tpublic.com/stores/gaming-fixx because that helps us out. And we have some great 123 shirts and some other shirts. And we're also going to be having sales all month. So please help us out. We appreciate it. And we are working on getting a community page or community website. So we would really appreciate it. Have a great day. This is have a good night and enjoy the show.